Hello, welcome back to Happy Breath Creations, where we explore all things art, yoga, and meditation. Today, I'm so excited to take you through another sketchbook tour, this time of my Arteza Watercolor Sketchbook. This sketchbook has been through quite a journey. Some pages were torn out to create a homemade book, so it's a bit thinner now, but it's still packed with art and memories and stories, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's dive in. This first page is a graphite transfer of a sketch I made a while back. I was worried that I'd mess up the original, so I marked up the back of a blank sheet with graphite, traced the original sketch over top of it, and then transferred it onto this page. Funny enough, I didn't even end up needing the copy. The original turned out so fun and so colorful, so the lesson I learned from this was sometimes you just have to trust yourself and go for it. Even if I had messed it up, I could have just tried again. That said, this drawing was pretty intricate, so I also understand my own hesitations. Here's the first of several sketches from a trip that I took to the zoo, a lot of which I actually filmed for a previous video. I'll leave the link for that video in the description in case you want more information on that super fun day. This page features barn owls. They were so still when I first arrived, but as soon as I started sketching, they wouldn't stop moving. It was almost a comical challenge trying to capture all of the gestures and all of the movement that they were making. This page is more barn owls, but these are quicker, looser sketches. I was focusing on their movements and gestures rather than finishing a detailed drawing of their enclosure. More barn owls here. This time I captured some really interesting poses. One lifted its foot and turned its head completely sideways, while another curled its wings around itself almost like a cloak. I could have drawn them forever. They were absolutely fascinating, and this pose actually inspired one of the pieces that one of the more finished pieces that I later decided to do, which is also in the sketchbook. Moving on to goats, if the owls were a challenge, the goats were on a whole other level. They never stopped moving, but I loved focusing on their ears and their horns. I felt like those features really made a goat look like a goat to me. This page features a bull and a donkey. While I was sketching the bull, one of the zoo employees stopped by to tell me about Boone and Tipton, the two bulls she caught me sketching. She said they weighed about 2,000 pounds each. Then I sat by the donkey enclosure and sketched her. She was surprisingly still, which was a nice break after the goats. Here's a sketch of some antique farm equipment. I have no idea what this machine used to do, but it looked so intricate and interesting that I just felt like I had to draw it. If you recognize this piece of equipment, let me know in the comments what you think it was used for. As I was sketching the antique equipment, I heard these really loud animal calls from another part of the zoo, and I just had to go investigate. Turns out it was the gibbons. They blow up their necks, and they make these most intense sounds. After watching and listening to them for a while, I moved on to sketching the meerkats. The Nashville Zoo has an incredible meerkat exhibit, I think, and I love trying to capture their really fast, quick movements and their sweet little faces. More meerkats on this page, but this time from a different viewpoint. I walked around the enclosure and watched from the back. On the way, I noticed an interesting lantern on a pole that I had to sketch. The meerkats were still as active as ever, making them a really fun challenge to draw. This page features quick sketches of saddle-billed storks. While I was sketching, one actually ended up catching a fish. I love how sketching makes you slow down long enough to get to see things like this sometimes. I also included a small sketch of the canoe that was in their enclosure. On my way out of the zoo, I saw this mom holding her baby, and it was just such a sweet moment that I couldn't resist making a quick, shaky sketch while walking behind them. This page was so fun. It was a collaboration with an artist friend. We took turns sketching in each other's sketchbooks, adding to each other's drawings, and seeing what we could come up with. Art friends really are the best. This page was from a video where I tested Ohuhu alcohol markers. I'll leave the link for that video in the description as well. I loved having so many shades of the same color for blending. My blending style isn't super smooth. I let the shades just kind of sit next to each other in a chunky textured way, and I think that's really fun. After a day at the zoo, I wanted to capture the experience with a more finished piece. This page features the Grassmere historic farm sign, the historic home, and some owls and goats, of course. It was also my first time experimenting with gouache, so this page holds a lot of memories and experimentation for me. You can watch my art process for this page on the zoo video in the description. This page is a rainbow colored page where I started journaling about the chakras. I wasn't feeling particularly creative this day, so I just decided to put some colors on the page and use a pen and just start writing. I didn't actually finish the journaling process, but I noted the colors, their corresponding chakras, and a few associated terms. This was another artsy game with my friend. We made a 3x3 grid in our sketchbooks and took turns making prompts and filling in the boxes, trading books after each turn. It was so much fun seeing how our combined creativity unfolded. This page is a quick sketch of a man drawn with a pencil that has multicolored lead. I love using this pencil when I'm feeling uninspired because it takes away the pressure of having to choose what colors to use. This was just a quick self-portrait drawn with an everyday ink pen. And here I practiced with alcohol markers again, drawing a cicada, some flowers, a jeep, and a face that ended up being vaguely shaped like a vase and kind of looks like it might be holding the flowers. This is a loose painting of a pangolin using gouache. I love how it turned out. Loose paintings like this are so freeing and so fun to create, and I just really love the outcome when I'm able to really stay loose with my mark making. Here's another loose painting with gouache again, this time of a sloth. It's a bit more abstract, but I still really enjoyed the process and it was great practice. This was an animal-themed spread using alcohol markers. I painted a young Virginian possum, an aardvark, a sea cow, and a red kangaroo, and an anteater. The anteater is one of my all-time favorite pieces of mine. Look at his cute little face, he just looks so happy. And now we're back to gouache for a cute little chipmunk. I love the loose strokes, the marks, and the color choices here. This was a sweet little mouse that I painted with gouache again. I enjoyed staying loose with this one, and I really loved how the composition came together. This spread features more animals painted with alcohol markers. I focused mainly on values, limiting my range of colors significantly. I really liked how the elephant turned out, so I stopped myself from adding more to the page because I didn't want to overdo it and really take away from it. And then I ended up stopping to film for the second half of the spread because I felt like the process might be really interesting to watch. I'll leave the link for that video in the description too, in case you're interested in watching me paint the muskrat, the great gerbil, and the ship rat. Although I don't think they turned out quite as good as the elephant did. This mixed media page features a mama and a baby porcupine. I used strong, sharp marks to convey the pointy nature of their quills, even though we really only see their heads. I love how loose yet also dynamic this one feels. This is a monochromatic gouache painting of two mountain hares boxing. It has a whimsical storybook feel that I really love. This page is a wolf I painted during a live group session with Jess Carp on Patreon. It was such a fun, collaborative experience and provided a really great sense of community. Speaking of which, this is a great time, I suppose, to tell you about my own Patreon. I host my own live virtual group sessions where we do art, yoga, and meditation together on Patreon. I offer several different tiers so you can pick and choose the things that sound interesting to you. I also offer live private virtual classes and exclusive goodies like stickers, prints, and digital downloads. Check out the description for more details. And now back to our regular scheduled programming. This is a jackrabbit. While it's not my favorite, I learned a lot from this page about composition, mark making, and color mixing. Mostly what not to do. But that's all part of the process, it's okay. The next 3 pages showcase stickers I made for my 100 Heads challenge. I wanted these digital pieces to live in my sketchbook with the rest of my art, so I printed them as stickers and included them here. I also added lyrics, poems, and quotes that capture the feel from that project. And that's the end of the sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed flipping through these pages with me and hearing all of the stories behind them. And I hope it inspires you to create or document your own memories through art. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. It really helps me create more content just like this. If you'd like to support me further, don't forget you can also check out my Patreon for exclusive content, live sessions, and more. It's a really great way to build community, get connected to others with similar interests, and support my work here on YouTube while getting additional access to even more content and goodies. It's a win-win. Links are all in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, wherever you are on your journey, there's always space to breathe, create, and grow. May you find your happiest of breaths, and I'll see you in the next video.